everybody. How are you? All right, the first thing that I want to tell you is my name is Zachary Bennett, and if you Google me, you will get this guy. And unfortunately, I am not a Canadian film actor best known for being in the TV movie Jekyll and Hyde. So that's why when you see my name written, you will see where it says be Zachary Bennett. If you want to Google me, that's how you would have to do it. However, here's my contact information. If you have questions afterward, you need to contact me. Also, the company that I work for, Reformation Productions, in case you want to reach out to us that way. So our URL, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter for those of you that tweet. A couple things that you need to know today about the company that I work with, Reformation Productions. We are not a vendor, which means that we are not affiliated with any of the platforms that we're going to be talking about today. I don't work for LinkedIn, I don't work for Facebook, I don't work for Google. Okay, so I don't have anything to sell you from today. This is not a sales pitch that you've been tricked into coming to. We are an agency, which means that we partner with our clients, businesses, to help them creatively. That's coming up with the artwork and the videos and things that you put out there, and also strategically. We help them to become as efficient and effective as they can be by communicating their business as experts in marketing. So we don't just do social media, we do the entire marketing gamut. We're talking about social media today, but we do not represent any of the, in other words, you can't yell at Mark Zuckerberg through me. But all right. So our approach for today, these are some of the questions that we promised to answer for you. What is social media? Why should my business be using social media? What are the differences between all of the sites that are out there? What work is involved in managing social media as a business? How do you build an effective profile? Once you have a profile, what do you do with it? And then lastly, how do you generate business using social media? Now, we're going to do that through starting with a big picture. Okay, we're going to go through some history, some of the philosophies behind social media, rules. There are etiquette rules about how to use social media. We'll talk about those. Then we'll go from that into how to use social media by type. There are several types of social media. Facebook is not the only thing. So there's lots of different types. We'll talk about those. Then we'll get into the details per site. We'll talk about those. And then we'll do questions at the end. So if you have a question in the middle and you think I may answer it according to this dialogue, just write it down, and when we get there, then you can ask them. But this is kind of the funnel approach that we're going to take, from very big picture as to why we should be on social media at all to begin with, all the way down to the details of the sites. Sound good? All right, we're going to start with some history, like I said. So one of the questions that I was asked before is social media fad? You ain't nothing but Come on over, a whole lot of shaking going on. Thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill. Rock and roll has got to go, and go it does at KWK. We're all through playing rock and roll. After this week, no more rock and roll will be played on the air.
friend, I bang Roxanne. Roxanne, Roxanne, can't you understand? Roxanne, Roxanne, I wanna be your man.
You know what? Yo, peep this. Lottie-dottie. We like to party. We don't cause trouble. We don't get back, fly girl. A 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 fly girl.
Come on, I said a hip hop, you hit it to the hip hip hop, and you don't stop the rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat, and me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. See, I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello.
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper. Well, it's not as far-fetched as it may
Newspapers
seem.
around the country are currently in the computer network, and within the next few weeks, 3 others will join in.
This is an experiment. We're trying to figure out what it's going to mean to us as editors and reporters and what it means to the home user. And we're not in it to make money. We're probably not going to lose a lot, but we aren't going to make much either.
Both Examiner and Ron
is a network of people with personal computers. CompuServe can turn your computer into a limitless source of information and resources that will simplify your work and enrich your life. It combines the power of your computer with the convenience of your telephone to bring you hundreds of online services, like a reference library.
The internet, which links computers from around the world, has been around for quite some time. So, why so popular now? Well, just like microwave ovens, cordless phones, and remote control, it takes a while for people to convert, even if it's for the better. The Antioch Library is keeping up with the 90s by providing a computer that's linked into the internet for everybody's use.
Using what he's talking about. I'm a internet service provider here in Dallas, Texas.
Well, wait a minute. Before you say that, you've got to tell us before we look at this video, what is an internet? Would you mind just sharing that with us for the 4 or 5 people that don't know what an internet is? Would you tell us?
The internet obviously is the nationwide network of networks communication, and to this day, more than 60% of the traffic on the internet is email. So it's
back to 56 past, I wasn't prepared to translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it. I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard you around or about in the lunchroom.
See, there it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com. I mean.
Well, Allison should know.
What is the internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big? How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Allison will be in the studio shortly.
What does
it mean?
It's a giant computer network made up of started from.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like a computer billboard.
It's not. It's a computer billboard, but it's nationwide. It's several universities and everything all joined together.
Right.
And others can access it.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It came in really handy during the quake. A lot of people, that's how they were communicating out to tell family and loved ones they were okay because all the phone lines were down.
I was telling Katie and
But you don't need that. You don't need a phone line to operate the internet. No.
So for the moment at least, this fellow isn't worried about being out of a job. Steve Newman, U-Center 4.
Well, it takes over 2 hours to receive the entire text of the newspaper over the phone, and with an hourly use charge of $5, the new telepaper won't be much competition for the 20-cent street edition.
All right, so why is that important? Well, we just showed you that to show you that our world continues to change. And the fact that our world changes matters with social media and marketing, because the job of marketing is to meet the public where they live, okay? If the world is changing around us, business practices must change with it. We need to connect with people in their lifestyle, what they're doing in their habits, emotionally, with what their needs are. We have to change as a business with society in general. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the history of how that's happened. You take stories, for example, right? Just simply telling somebody a story. Started off, people would tell stories around a campfire. Then we ended up, people would come together to hear one person tell a story in a theater, right, Shakespeare. Then we learned how to read. All right, the book press was made, and we learned how to read. Then it moved on to radio. Then it moved on to film. Then television, right? Film came to the small screen. Then we had cable, which threatened to put the small screen out of business because now you could get big movies at home. Then we had home video, which really scared them. Now we have streaming. We've gone a long way from campfire to streaming. We look at music, it's the same sort of story. We went from theaters to radio to home entertainment, records, tapes, cassette or 8-track for you truckers, CDs, MP3s. Then we had MTV, and then we had home video, YouTube, and now streaming. News. You had the town crier. You had a guy that used to go out and just scream whatever was happening in the middle of the town square. Then we went to newspaper and print, radio, TV, and then it went to websites, and then finally social media. A lot of people don't pick up the newspaper, don't turn on the TV, they simply go to Facebook and see whatever's trending in the news. Technology has a big impact. We went from having radios that were furniture to having a boombox, Walkman that you could carry, and then an iPod that you didn't need cassettes or whatever for. Telephones, remember when they were connected to a wall? Did you remember when they were not connected to the wall but they had an antenna, and if you went around the corner you couldn't talk anymore? Then we had cell phones, which were huge. And then we combined it with the computer, and now we have smartphones. Mail was the same way. You had postal mail, then we could send things by fax. After fax was email, then we went to FTP, now we have the cloud. You don't even have to upload it on its own for you. It used to be to find a business, you had to walk around, drive around, and look at signage in a town. Did you see blah, blah, blah? You found out where a business was by looking at their sign on the street. Then we developed yellow page directories. Everybody remember yellow page directories? People used to spend an awful lot of money on yellow pages. Nowadays, unless you're targeting senior citizens, don't waste your money because nobody goes there. Now everybody goes to Google. All right? Retail is another thing. We used to buy things from festivals. Big festivals would come to town. People would go there, and that's how they would buy their goods. Then we went to catalogs and mail order. Sears and Roebuck started as a catalog. You had a door-to-door salesperson that went around selling things. Then we developed brick and mortar businesses, which is you would have a store, Kroger, Walmart. And now we're moving to websites. Eventually, you will not see stores unless it's a convenience store. People buy more stuff online. Amazon, you can buy anything you want. Walmart is doing the same thing. They now have vendors other than Walmart that are available on their website. Eventually, they're trying the drone thing where you don't even need a delivery man. So the point is that things are constantly changing. Now, business adoption process. Let's talk a little bit about how we in our society and as business people adapt to new things. You start off, you have the innovator of whatever it is that we're discussing, whatever new technology normally. Then you have early adopters. They're the first people to jump on board. Generally speaking, they're going to be risk takers, people that have high hopes for their business or for whatever technology it is that they're adopting to. They're generally curious people, and they have a tendency to be very savvy. They're smart people. So they'll learn how to use whatever it is and develop a strategic use for it. So the first people that started with microwaves or cell phones or billboards or whatever it may have been, you had the early adopters that learned how to use it and developed how to be smart with it. Then you have everybody else. General awareness is usually very slow. You have your skeptics they've heard about it, but they don't want to use it. I've heard several times people, particularly older people that are business owners, they don't want to have anything to do with social media because they don't understand it. Then you have people that are unaware, and they simply have no clue about what's going on. All right? Then, as the media hype starts to build, and it will, awareness increases. Once everybody starts to find out about whatever it is we're talking about, in this case social media, you have some people that will simply deny using it. They just know, and they'll shut the door, and they don't want to be involved at all. Those people grow out of touch and eventually out of business. We do not want to be one of those people. Then we have companies that are considered the mature few. These are usually well-established businesses, have been in business for a while. They jump on board and they learn from the people that came before them and go straight into being able to use it strategically, whatever the device is. In this case, we're talking about social media. Then we have everybody else. Majority adoption happens and people jump on board and they do it because everybody else is. They didn't do any research, they didn't do any learning. They really don't know what's going on except for this is the hot new thing. And salespeople will get out there and tell you, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do that, and convince people to jump on board. When that happens, you jump on board and you have inflated expectations. This is going to save my business. This is going to do, and you really think whatever it is going to be the answer to all of your problems. And people make mistakes. Once you make mistakes during that, it leads to disillusionment. People get somewhat depressed because whatever it is they thought didn't work. Once you get there, you have a choice. You can either abandon the idea altogether, say, fine, I tried it, it didn't work, right? And then stop using it, in which case you join these people. Or you can get serious about it, adapt to what you've learned from this position, start using whatever it is, in this case social media, strategically. Professionally, responsibly, understand that you're going to be invested in doing it and making smart decisions. Nothing about owning a business or running a business is easy. I don't care what somebody told you. A lot of times people tell you, well, just do it yourself. Just do it yourself is not as easy as it sounds. All right, there's a lot to it. Now, most people, I assume, that are in this room are going to be in this majority adoption area because the rest of this has already happened. And the position that we're in here is we have to become educated so that we can make smart use and we can go this way. A lot of people may have already jumped on board, maybe already tried to start using social media. It's failed you as far as what your expectations were. We're going to talk about how to do it right because knowledge is power. That's why you're here, is to learn, okay? We believe that exploring things, understanding things is very important for you to be able to make your best decisions about your business. Now, that being said, let's start with what social media is not. Huge misconception. Social media is not designed to be a quick fix sales tool. Okay? I've done social media seminars a lot, and I usually get people asking me, can I sell this on there? Can I do blah, blah, blah? That's not what it's for. If you thought it was, you're wrong. Rethink it. Okay? Social, we'll talk about what it is, but it's not a sales platform. It is not a billboard for you to sell from. Now, that being said, sales will happen because of social media, but that doesn't make it a sales platform, and we'll talk about this in detail. Social media is a group of socialized marketing tools. It's not sales, but it is important because marketing is imperative to your business's success. All right, so let's dive into what marketing is. There's another misconception. Marketing is not sales either. Marketing is communicating your business, period. Sales is the end result of marketing, but it's not all there is to it. A lot of people think sales and marketing, and there's a lot of reasons why our society has got to the point where they think sales and marketing are the same thing. Generally speaking, the public has been duped, but what marketing is business communications and not necessarily sales. Marketing is not a replacement for sales. However, marketing does make sales' job easier. That's where it starts to get confusing. I had a client one time. She hired us to be her marketing agency, and we came on board, and probably 3 weeks after we were on board, she let us know, happenstance, that she had fired her sales team. And I'm like, why did you do that? Well, I don't need to. Now I have you. We're marketing, we're not sales. So now I have to learn that I have to communicate this up front. Marketing and sales are not the same thing. Marketing will make your sales people's job easier. It'll make it work better. It will not replace it. Okay? So let's talk a little bit more about marketing. Marketing is communicating your businesses to others for the express purposes, including building awareness, increasing loyalty, becoming a preferred business to your public, increasing fame, which means, yes, celebrities and politicians use marketing as well, becoming popular, sales, yes, it's on there, and fundraising. All of this will lead to your success as a business owner. Marketing is about the who, what, where, when, why, and how. It's all of the thinking behind. It's not simply a do activity. It's strategy and it's creative. So it's the thinking and the what you actually end up putting out there to the public. Now, marketing is first impressions. When you walk up to somebody as a business, if you could use your thinking to be abstract for a minute, as a business, you walk up to somebody, and the first impression that your business gives, that involves marketing. Your web presence, the way that you package your product. This is marketing, the way that it looks. Advertising, of course, social media, public relations, sales relations, customer relations. After they've already bought, you're still communicating with your customers. That's part of marketing. Recruitment, getting the best people on your team to work for you. Signage and decor, the uniforms that your employees wear. All of this communicates to your public. The displays that you have up, the promotions that you give, what you're going to say as a business to the public, and how you're going to say it. Managing the expectations of the people that you have. Regis McKinney puts it this way: marketing is everything. Anything that you do to communicate with your public is marketing. It's not simply advertising, which a lot of people think. Marketing is about bringing your product or service to market, which means to your public. That's what marketing is. Social media is a marketing tool, not a quick fix sales tool. Now, let's recap what we just went through learning here. Marketing is business communications more than just sales. It impacts everything that your public sees, feels, thinks, and wonders about your product or service. Business communications are vital to operating your business and its success. Social media is an important part of that marketing, but marketing is not straight sales, quick and fast. If it was, we wouldn't need to have a 3-hour seminar on what it is. All right, social media. Social media is gossip. It has replaced talking at the water cooler or over the white picket fence. Now people gossip on the internet. It's the same thing that you know what so-and-so said. So social media is gossip. It's also word of mouth. It's keeping in touch with one another. There's people that I keep in touch with via Facebook and social media that I would never talk to otherwise from high school. And you can say, oh, that's what you look like now, right? It's fan clubs, it's emergency communication, it's the way that people make announcements, share news. It's, hey, look at me and what I'm doing. How many of your friends you know that do that? It's also, how have you been? What are they about? When people come to a business Facebook page, they're wanting to know more in depth about what you are about as a company. It's how do you know? Who do you know? Right? One of the things that we want to know is, are you connected to this person? Are you connected to that person? Who all do you know? And then, what do you recommend? People go on to the internet now to find out, well, what have you done? Right? What is your experience? So social media is engaged in all of those questions. All via Web 2.0 sites, which you don't have to know what it means, and mobile media. And there are a lot of social media outlets out there. Okay? Tons. Now, what we need to understand about social media, since there's so much out there, is how are the different sites being used, why are they being used, and what can they do for you as a business. We'll get into the details about each individual one later, but like I said, every one of these represents a different type of social media that's out there. Okay? The main thing to know is that at the center of all of it is your brand. Okay? It's very important that you always include in every piece of social media that you do, you include your professional branding. You need to know what it is that your branding says about you, and you need to understand that every piece of communication that you put out there matters. Because the internet, as so many people know, is unforgiving. If you put it out there, somebody can find it. So everything that you say matters, and it's very important that it all includes branding. So let's talk about branding. Anybody know what branding is? One of the things, you can see it over here in the corner, that I hear a lot is that, well, here I have a brand, here it is, and they show me their logo. Branding is not your logo. All right. The other thing that branding is not your tagline. That's the other thing that people assume. I have a brand, it's my tagline. That's not true. What branding is it's what people think about you when they think about you. It's very ethereal, right? It's not something that you can hold in your hand. It's intangible. The guy that founded Amazon says it this way: a brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. We often use an iceberg to show what a brand is. Everything that's above the water is what you see, right? This is your logo, your tagline. This is what people can see and what their perception is. But your brand goes much deeper. There's a lot of things about how your business runs that's behind the scenes. All right?
Zachary?
Yes.
So down there below is really more like where your uniqueness is, if you will, of the business. And then up above is what you're trying to communicate. You're trying to communicate that. Is that right?
This is the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
This is how you show who you are. But you cannot have one without the other.
Yeah.
All right? One of the things, and it'll come a little later in the next slide, one of the things that I tell people is you have to make sure that what you're putting out there is true. Because if it's not, it's going to come off as false, and you're not going to be able to back it up. So who you are, like he just said, what's in here, has to be represented up here. You can't say that you're, the cheapest thing ever if you're not. Because people will find out, and then they'll start to criticize your business, tell two friends, and you'll go out of business. So make sure that it's true. It needs to be the best of what is true, but it still needs to be true. Another definition of branding is the process of proactively developing, managing, and exploiting the perception of a business in the minds of their audience so that they will be remembered and chosen in the marketplace. This is our goal. We want you to be remembered and chosen. That's the art of developing the brand. Now, it has, like I said, it has to be built on truth. When we have what you want it to be, that is true. And what it is the public is interested in, where that overlaps, that relevance, that's what the center of your brand needs to be about. It can't be about what you want it to be and you're not doing anything about it. You can't say, I have the fastest fast food sandwiches in the world, and then people have to wait to get it. It's not true. It comes across as false. Brand communications exercise. All right, we're going to go around the room one at a time, and I want you guys to tell me the name of your company, right, or tell the room the name of your company, who you are without describing what you do. So tell me the personality of your brand, not your products or services. And then tell me how you are communicating that brand to the public. If you're new and not communicating your brand yet, tell me what you think you would. We can start with you, sir.
Perfect, because I don't have really a company yet. Right? So, but I'd say it's something I want to do. So the name of the company we're thinking about is Barrel and Iron Artisans.
What do you think the personality of your company is going to be?
High quality products that are unique and repurposed.
Okay, that's what you're going to sell.
Yes. Well, okay.
Who are you? For example, let me tell you this. The brand Apple. Everybody's heard of Apple, right? Their brand is they're innovative, they're cutting edge, they are they're elite. They call their people that work for them geniuses, right? That's their essence of who they are. I haven't told you what they do, make computers, make them. I told you who they are, right? They're contemporary, they're innovative, all these are adjectives to describe the personality of who they are, right?
So I guess we're craftsmen? Would that be, or artisans?
A little bit about what you do.
Yeah.
What are you conservative? Are you liberal? Are you fun? Are you safe? How would you describe?
I want to say almost anal retentive when it comes to details.
Detail-oriented is how we put that.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'll let you up. What about you?
Basically, it's Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and I basically help people. And
What you do? Who are you? What do you stand for? What are characters? If you were a person, how would you describe that person, except not what they look like, but how they act? Are they a person of integrity? Are they somebody that gets things done?
I'm a hard worker. I have integrity.
One of the things that you've noticed as we've asked this question is there's a lot more to it than you thought, right? Every piece of communication that you're going to be putting out there for the public to look at and to make a judgment of your business on is centered around this question, and a lot of you can't answer it. Very important to figure this stuff out, okay? I have, if you go to that website that I passed out, there's more webinars on this, branding in particular, so that you can do a little more study. But how you describe the personality of your company is important because that's how you're going to connect with people, right? People are not simply going to buy from you based on what it is you're selling, because lots of people sell whatever it is you're selling. What you need to do is communicate to them why you're different. That's the personality of your company. That's why they should choose you rather than somebody else. Very important to nail that down. Recap. Social media is like all business communications. It is centered around your brand. Your brand is not your logo. It is something that is intangible. It's like a thought or a theory. Okay? It is who you are and not what you do. And it has to be built on truth. Right? Don't say that you have wonderful customer service if you're Comcast, because you don't. Right? All right, let's take a break for a minute, let you stretch your legs, let me get some water, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up the next section.